Okay, we're live. So, okay, now that we're live, we're going to start on our problem that we're trying to fix. We got this album instance and we have to do something with it, so we'll go ahead and do that. So let's put on some music. Let's say okay. Got something. Alright. I think that's adequate volume. So let's try something else. Yeah, it's Kubuntu. So what I'm thinking is we probably don't want to bind the form directly on the instance. We'll do something where we should copy that data over. So we'll have an instance form. And instance form will be like instance, except it'll be different. So right here, alright, so that way, what we'll do is bind that there. That way we don't have this issue where we have to worry about that. So, because that's not a real instance anyway, right? Okay, so then over here, when we create a feed, instead of doing that, we do this form. And we want to serialize this form, right? So we'll have a serialized feed method or something, which will take that in. But anyway, so the collection feed thing will return an instance that we can set to the data, right? And so now it'll be tied to form. Now the thing with that is that will make it so that the content types are bound to form. And basically, when we redirect to manage, what we'll do is we will bind instance to we'll bound instance form to the values of this instance. However, we'll make sure to serialize the value. So basically, what we want to do is when we're here, actually, I'm trying to think. We might want to, no, never mind. I'm trying to think. So ideally the collection select would actually bound to the instance models. And so for each value, you know, in the select, it's just JSON right now, so it's just an option. So we might want to investigate if we can possibly create a feed content type model and bind that to the V model, maybe. But I think maybe duplicating is easier, because that way a form is kind of a serialized you know, representation of the instance. So I think that'll work better if we have like a serialized method. So maybe something like that. And serialize, in this instance, should be basically a model instance. So we can do something like this. We do new feed. And that doesn't have an ID is the only thing. So right now we just have this as this instance, and in the logic here, basically when we set a value in a collection, what's going to happen is that we'll have to store this not in a list, but actually in an object. And so what we'll do is we'll say that the store is a so it's a hash table where the accessor could be the ID of the element, right? So, but in this collection, so the idea is we ideally want kind of we want to have multiple collections, or sorry, one collection per object type. So we don't want to have like many collections. So right here in vue.js, you know, we were originally thinking we wanted the collection right here. Sorry. That we wanted the content types to be here. But actually, what we want is a regular array, and it will actually be like a serialized list of those, and whether or not, so that might mean we can bind it directly to the model, but actually no, because, well, let me see actually. So collection, the main part of it that we want is this serialization to IDs, right? And so that's kind of important to have. But that's kind of, if you think about it, it's not really the job of the collection. The job of the collection is to cache all objects that exist ever, kind of. So the collection has to be stored somewhere, and in this case it's kind of alongside the rest of the application, and we can sync the collection with the latest values, I guess. And so with the content type selection, the difficulty is like we need a serialized kind of representation of the feed content types that is within the context of a selection, right? So right, so we don't want to actually have collections be arrays like we thought, maybe. Maybe we can have a global collection and other types of collections that, let's see. So the difficulties with the options we have this bound v model that is supposed to just give us an ID for the API. I'm sorry. And it's supposed to be bound. Sorry. Anyway, so we have this form bound in the form, and then the form has to create an instance. And instance, when we read instance, it has all the properties as if it was a form, and we want to be able to modify those attributes. So when we modify, so when we modify a model, what will happen is, when we run a operation like create, we want to modify the model instance that has this ID. So anyway, when we do this values, what will happen is that we don't want to mess, or when we construct the collection, let's see, so in content type, when we construct a collection, basically we want to store this, all the feeds, or feed content types, we want to store those somewhere, right? So what we do is we do this little thing here. So we're going to refactor this, make it so that as soon as you initiate a content type collection, it will get all these action or feed content types from the server, and that's how it'll do it. So right here in feed content item list, it takes items, right? And the thing is that this is being stored within the view. So what ends up happening is that every time we use a feed content item list, it will get the new feed content items from the database. But that's kind of expensive because you know, we don't need to do that all the time. So we probably need to do that like once per load or something like that. So list content here will get it from this items, and this items, oh sorry, this is the wrong, same idea, but what all this is do is collection select right here takes all the items from collection, then it's supposed to serialize those options for us, and yeah. But the thing with all is actually this should give us model instances, and so all the time it shouldn't be getting these content types if it's already there. So so what we'll do is we'll have to initialize a feed item content type collection somewhere, right? And so what we'll do is here we'll create a new file called store, and basically this will have a collection, or this will have a an instance of here of a feed content type collection, and basically whenever we use it, it will kind of create this store with mapped model values. And whenever we need the serialized values, we do either IDs or we deal with we do values. So let's see. So anyway, all should return a new collection or something similar. So it'll be like a factory or something. So this will either let's see. So if it has a store, let's see. So we want it to maybe be a map from ID, right, to the model item, or like the model instance. So what we'll do is this won't be a static method. What it will be is just a regular function here. But when we do this, there'll be a boolean called sync, and sync basically will refresh whatever content types there are. We don't really need that, so if sync, it will always refetch the kind of store and so on. So, but then we want to serialize those results. First, we want to create them as models, and then we want to refetch. So what we'll do with constructor, we'll do super, but we actually want to fetch the values here first. Let me see. So we can't reference this before super. Let's see. So we'll say create content type collection factory, and what this will do is let's do that. So it'll grab the content, it will take the factory and just initialize it. What this will do is it will return a new feed content type collection. But right here, actually, maybe since this is, we could do this as a static method, maybe. So then we don't need the factory, that would be ridiculous. We could on the constructor, we could simply do this and do no, we do need that factory. I don't think about it. God damn it. So it'll do this. It will say fetch. Fetch, and then it'll do with the result. Now that I think about it, okay, but anyway, so you initialize the we don't necessarily actually have to have this as a class. We can just say create or make the content type collection, something like that. And I will take or get a good content type collection or fetch data results. Then with that that new data, we'll initialize a new content type collection with that data and return that. And then so we'll do this. We'll say that's going to equal, it's going to be a let and then what we'll do is we'll have the new type collection and assign that to the collection. But the issue with this is it's async, you know, so like we could have a situation where this response maybe takes forever or something and it doesn't load all the types. But the idea is once you have the collection initiated, we might want to, let's see, so everything is async. But what we want to do is we want to have this kind of maybe a get or create or something, where we have this value so it'll be a function that it's a getter. We'll let that it goes sad wave. What do we want this to do? Let's go with this. There we go. Okay, so we'll do this as it's a getter. Maybe. Well, I like this idea of dealing with the class rather than all these like methods and so on. So what we could do is let's see. So we want only one instance of the vue content type collection. So let's see. anyway, we would want to cache some of that. So then we make it, we get the collection and we assign the collection, and then we want to return those. But actually, this needs to be a promise, right? So we want to have like a promise. Let's do that. So with promise, what to? Let's see if I got how to. So we actually want to make this generic. We're just experimenting with doing it on a specific model instance. And yeah. Okay, so what this generic kind of operation looks like is we have a value, right? So we'll store this in the store, right? And what this looks like is we will do make what it'll look like. Want to do this as a generic operation, right? So we'll define a function const collection factory. Okay, takes in a collection. And it says this, returns a promise, and so with this, we have to have a field, right here where it's being stored, you know. And so this is where it gets kind of complicated. We'll take in a proxy. So basically how this works is we have a so see how like we messed this up. We kind of had this metaphor where like the collection acts as a store, but that's not really what we want. Well, we want that, but because there's sub-stores within the store. Anyway, so let's see. What this functions as is a proxy to something else. Actually, we want to say value. So wait, let me see. I would just say that's a object right there. So what we do, we will we do something like that, right? Collection factory on actually while we're setting it to, we don't need let's see. So take the collection unit. So let's say content type collection. So this what this will do is it's going to create a. Let me just make this clear. What's it going to do is it's going to create a collection factory on this, which will always return this view content types thing. So what that is value. So we'll say so right now it's null. But well, we want that as a proxy right here. I think that'll work. So we do something like that. Proxy value. So this creates a new collection. So the collection factory will basically, every time you access this value, the feed content types, what will happen is that it will create, well, it's a promise that takes a well, it doesn't take anything, but basically it will take in this method takes in these values in order to create like a promised expected collection, and so, but if there is no collection available, it will simply try to get that collection, and so it'll use the make function. So we'll have something like this where we say make or something, right? And so then it'll make collection based off that function. So it'll make a collection, and we might want to have values bound to that make collection, and so the way we would do that is we would have like a, anyway, well, so feed content types that will return eventually, that will return those required feed content types. So make collection in this case is this function right here. Yeah, it looks really complicated, but it makes it generic. So basically, if we need anything like this, we can just do it like as much as we want. So all takes. We're going to just get rid of refetch and we will let's see. Want so when we make the collection, we want to not only return the new collection, but we want to maybe return those values. I don't know. So when we get the collection, we'll get all the values are in there in the store, but right now the store is like an array, which isn't what we want. We want values to not be a proxy really, but well, it will return. Well, object for key value of so maybe we should make it just an array for now. Yeah, why not? So we'll keep that there, just whatever. But anyway, so now, and we need to actually import all this. So that way we have that. And this, we probably could simplify this a little bit. make feed content type collection. We'll just return those. So maybe we want to throw this in this collection factory into the model here. Export that as well, and then we have to simplify or at least grab that out of there, and okay, alright, maybe, yeah, no, I think this is fine. So, that's kind of awkward, eh? Let's see. So fetch is static, but this is not, or this is not. And in the collection, it will create a new model of values, which is a JSON array, and it will create a new model, which is a feed collection or feed content type model, and that will have getters and setters for each of them. Okay, so in here, when it comes to the collection select, we can try to make this work. And so when we loop over options, we want to actually set this options. Well, first of all, this collection will be bound, right? So in feed content type select, the collection right here actually needs to be store. Needs to be store feed content types. right there. And so we don't need to do much other than that we need to put that there. And this will make collection a promise that returns the content types. And so now, in here, when we mount this, we actually will do this. We will say this collection and what this will do, we'll do then. It'll return a new promise to a collection. Then we can get this collection and essentially, just stays the same, will be these options, and then we can set this options to maybe a proxy of that, and hopefully I think that would actually change the collection itself. So let's experiment with that, see what happens. Now the thing is with that is that we'll sync up with the V model up here, right? And we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so this options is going to be the C types. Let's just say equal that C types. This will give us a collection, so we actually want to do C types.values. So we want to say values. So we'll have a ton of errors, no doubt. So, but this will collect the values into this options. Let's see if that does anything. So, not only do we have content to type select, we also have the other one, which is account select. So that'll be the same type of premise. But eventually we'll have like filter and stuff. Anyway, so we have to import that. So that's going to be in store here. We don't want to import the entire store. We want to maybe export that, right? So here we want to export the store, but as a panel there, and so then what we do, we import the collection. Now since this is generic, we don't import that here, we actually import that here. So instead of importing the feed content type collection directly, what we do is we import feed content types from the store. And that's in the directory that holds it. So anyway, then that's all we do. We set that. And so what this will do now is we set the collection to be that value, feed content types, and then as soon as the multi-select gets, the collection select gets bound, or mounted rather, it will obtain those values from the feed content types collection. And that's great because that will be all we need. So here we have an issue where we try to obtain this collection sort of like ad hoc, right? It's not right. So what we'll want to do is maybe have a so this can't return a promise, obviously. That's kind of an issue, right? Well, so that will be a promise right here, the collection. So, but as soon as we have the collection, we already have the options, so we don't actually need to do anything other than take the option name well, we need this. We definitely need the class here. I thought we wouldn't, but yeah, we do. And what I'm thinking is maybe no, never mind. So anyway, we'll have that collection, and there we go. We can get the type mapping there. So yeah. Anyway. Unexpected token in the store. So we look here and it says unexpected token. Anyway, wait. We can't do that, can we? Export default. Cannot. And that will spread all of them. We can't do. I wonder. Unexpected token. Right. So yeah, we either can't have that there. in feed, feed content type collection is not used because what we want to do actually is we don't want that. What happens is we list when we list feeds, it will return us what we need. It won't return us the model once it's whatever. Anyway. Oh, okay, that won't work for sure. Yeah, that's not an object. Let's say, we'll just maybe we don't want to import the entire store in each module, but we want to import maybe a getter. We want to automatically create a getter for it. So let's see, actually, we don't need to do that. Let's try this where we, so the way Redux does it is you have like a reducer, and that gives you the content types like get and set. The reason we don't want to really do that is because it makes things complicated and it spreads out throughout the file. So the reducer can be maybe when we do create store, it's going to well, in Redux and all those, is it creates a store, and the reducer is granted access to that store because it has the accessor. And so what we'd like to do is when we make a collection factory, maybe we'd like to make a reducer with it as well. So that way we can just do this, and it will act as a proxy to store feed content types. And so that way, when we we want to assign to store feed content types, when it assigns, it'll assign it to the store, and we will be able to obtain that using this collection factory. So I don't think even we need to assign that to the factory. It will just assign it directly. So when we do, yeah, I think that'll work. Now, so that. Now, basically, this collection factory, when we look at model, or collection factory, it creates a promise that promises the proxy value. And in this case, it's a proxy for whatever is being stored here. And if it's different than null, and if it's null, then it assigns the proxy value and resolves that. So it should work. We're basically proxying whatever's in this store and exporting it. So instead of making reducers, then doing that, you have this big collection class. You define methods, and then if you want to make like a reducer, you just have it here in the store directly, and then interface with the collection, which gives you the power of all those methods should you need them. So this is more organized and it's tighter. It's tight rather than having many files like Redux. So we have some errors, obviously. Cannot create a proxy with a non-object as target or handler. Okay, that is because it's null right now. And so we can't have it as null. So what that'll mean is we'll have to make that an object, right? Let's see. We'll have to see if it has a value. And since it's an object, we don't know if it's empty or not, right? If it's empty. Well, we're gonna have to check for a value that so a process instance of collection, and if it is, we just return that. So, whoa. Let's return new promise. Oops. There we go. Alright, so now we see that it's not showing there. Cannot read the property then about defined. This collection is not defined. Okay. This collection is not a function, and so what this means is we're probably binding the wrong values, or binding it early or something. So when we look here, content type select, the collection's a promise, so it is there, it's just not really there, I guess. So what does it say? This collection is not a function. So now the thing about that, we made it initialize a new collection factory, right? But we didn't resolve that promise. So the thing is we want to store this as a promise, right? And so, wait a second. So eventually proxy value will be a collection. But yes, so that's a certainty, but we need to actually resolve that. Let's see. We actually, I guess we could let's see. So collection factory returns a new promise, but we could only resolve that once is the primary issue. So here, well, once we resolve it once, it won't resolve again. That's the thing. It will simply return that new value and the promise is finished. But we want it to continuously give those promises, so that way we will have to, let's see, content types. So we'll do this. We'll say let's see, so that will only resolve once is the thing. Let's see. We want it to resolve to infinity, so it will return a new instance of itself, which returns let me think about this. Yeah, so it'll return a, yeah, let's see that. so it returns a promise to collection factory, or collection. But in this case, we want to say yeah, the issue is we would have to consider that once the value finally gets resolved, then it's not really worth it to create another promise. So it's a lot of overhead, isn't it? Right? So let's see. Actually, we'll want to keep that here. The reason we want proxies is that way we can get and set restore. And so this way there we go. So now it'll return, it will create all of those. So whenever we add to a store, it will always make a proxy for that object. And then we just do proxies. And over here, we just do that. Proxies.get content types. There we go. So, of course, we have an error. We did that wrong. Now, this collection is not a function, this collection is not a function. Okay. But now, let's inspect the view thing here. This collection promise function. It should be. Let's see. When we set the value, we set collection to be content types. Looks like, oh, that's right, we don't have that there. So with that, we put it like that. And now that should be a function. Then I'm not defined. Okay. Model.js, okay, make collection. Then I'm undefined. Okay. And make feed content type collection is being imported, so it's kind of odd. Make feed content type collection. It's not returning anything. Wait. Yes, we want to return that. And so now, this model is not a constructor. So we'll go here. What is this model? Okay. Values is not defined. Oh, it is defined. Because it's a constructor, okay. Oops. Right. So when we create new model, it's got to be whatever class what it is. Let's see. There is no this. So actually, this constructor should make collection. Maybe make collection. And it will populate it with data, but it doesn't know what model it is. So that's an issue. We can't really do type deduction. Okay, so instead what we'll do is we will have a static method that returns that. Wait, shit, change that. Use static method in class. I think we can, right? Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. Oh, actually, wait. So that is working. But now it complains about undefined not being iterable. Collection select. It does that on mounted, right? So it does that on mounted. That's interesting that collection is not defined. Well, if we look at that, okay, then we also have to do that in model. And do this constructor initial state. Oh wait. There we go. And go model. Okay, so we'll go here. Big content type model. It should have an initial state. Oh, that's right. Static. Right there, like that. Static. Load. Okay, now we should have no. Oh, we do have an error, but. Okay, so what we'll do, we have to make that an iterator. So over here, we do this field of object keys. And now we should get no errors. Great, but now we can't use this here. So let's inspect. Type select has no values, and options has no value. And the reason why is because it looks like it's not being bound. So collection sets itself to feed content types, and we know that that's accessible. So what happens when it gets the values? It should set those options to those values, but it is not. So let's go debug this. That's gonna be, let's try to find where the group view.
So we'll do that here when we let's see. Where do we want to debug? Oh, collection select. Oops. Right here. We want to debug right here. Looks like it doesn't want to. Sometimes it's really dumb. Okay, looks like that promise never resolves. So that probably means it's not working. So few content types is a promise that returns. Well, it should be a function that returns that. I'm sorry. And we want to make this more abstract, so we want to basically make this like totally, like there's very little effort that has to be done. So now we have to change it so that it actually calls it as a function. So over here, this collection. So this on this. So I think we have to. So it's a promise. That promise is a promise. We actually want it to. To resolve itself. So probably we don't even want to do that. Yeah, that one makes sense. So I would just return a new collection factory. So that way here. Going to here, undefined. So instead, let's try and see what's value has a store with all the models. Awesome. Now the way this works is those models are instances. Have instances. So anyway, we have that there. It doesn't seem that we can do that. Options.
values, proxy. So here, when we look at values, that's the proxy. So now we have those. And when we look here now at view content item select, they have instances attached to them. See that? So now there are instances, they're actual objects, and that's awesome. So now it's attached to objects, and that is great. So that's an unintended consequence of that. I thought of that as more intuitive. So now, when we deal with instance form, right, we're dealing with actual instances. So what that means is we might as well, we could do away with the distinction between instance form and instance, but I think instance form is actually a better thing to do because we don't have to worry so much. So anyway, in feed, we look at data. An instance form has the instances in them, but instance itself has, it looks like it has an empty array because there is no instance. I know create will not work, so instead I'm going to look at something else. Anyone? No comments, huh? Okay. Okay. For some reason, this should work right when we do this, like this. I've always thought that would work. I guess not. So we'll just do. That should be the collection, but we'll say okay, and then we'll set those. So we're just renaming it. So now that the instance form is storing actual instances of content types, what that means is what happened there? Okay. So what that means is those are storing actual instances. So what we're going to do is instance form content types. Actually, wait, I want to inspect that one more time. So now these instances aren't actual, how we say, models, right? So because I think it copies them, it doesn't actually give us the instance. So multi-select, sorry, value So collection is options. But I think instead of doing that, let's try if we can store the values. Now we inspect. These are okay, they're instances. So it'll return this instance field. Let's see. This instance. So what we'll actually want is we'll want a proxy. So we'll have to do something here, right, where we return, so this will return proxy right when we get value. We don't probably want to have these getters and stuff in the same way. We want to return like an instance of the model, so that way we're not copying. So I'm going to see what happens if we just well, to return an object with an instance of a proxy, I think, right? So I'm going to comment that out, see what happens. Now, looks like still doing that. Interesting. So, no, actually, wait. Yeah, that's right. And then we want that. We want to have a store no, we don't.
So we will make proxy instance field. Well, I wonder how it's probably expensive. Yeah, what am I thinking? So like I think it's more expensive to make a proxy for each field than it is to like make a proxy or then just return the value and copy, you know. That make a lot of sense, you know. That's why I was like, wait a minute. So what I'm doing right? So yeah, but we want to probably not have this weird nested thing where we have object ID instance. By the way, this is what we're working on, people. This is like my little content network thing. So anyway. Okay, options. Let's do this. We have options, store values. Now, the thing with store values, we don't want to. Let's see. Actually want to look in the store here. Objects. No. Options. Sorry. Yeah, no. Options. And I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Okay,
So we made this like ORM basically on the front end because like I hate Redux and all that. Anyway, so the problem right now is it looks like it's returning clones rather than you know, the model, or it's returning like instance objects, and it's not what we want. Or it's returning the incorrect type here. So like we made this collection class, I made everything, right? We don't need that. But basically how it works is we proxy what the collection is storing, right? And so this store, we'll go ahead and I'm gonna console log store real quick. Wait. So we'll see here that store is all these content type models. And the strange part is that the type is different. In view content type select, the options are like clones. So it's kind of weird, you know. I wouldn't expect that. So what happens is I guess values, since it's a proxy, it acts all weird and whatnot. So, oh, that's right, because we're doing that right here, right? So maybe if we do like model or something like that, or what I'll do. Alright, well, oh. So what happens then? Oh, same thing now. Yeah. So we need some custom like getter thing that goes on. So this getter will it's gonna return like those instances, right? We don't want to return like a actually, I want to experiment with something. So, I messed it up. I didn't do that. So let's take a look at this reload, and I'm gonna debug this right here. So. Okay. So now we have this store, right? So what I want to do is I want to experiment with proxy. So what happens is we get a proxy and targets. So I'm interested to see what happens when we assign a value to this, let's say. And what happens? We get these objects. Now I'm interested to see, so if we reassign, this is the best. I think this might actually be like a good thing. So, but what I'm saying is whatever. Okay, so we will set values in the first value. So see, we have this instance, right? Let's say we want to mess with that instance. So what we try to do is we just try to set the ID to something else. So let's set it to like 9 or something, right? So now when we do value 0, we get 9. And then, but the thing is if you do this store values, sorry, this store, on the store, we also, it seems, get a new updated ID. So any modification done here will modify the instance on that model, or that model instance, which could be an issue because basically something as simple as modifying a form could edit the internal model. But yeah, so that's not a big deal, I guess, but we'll see that in values here. Let's go ahead and just undo that, go here, and so now what that'll mean is that options has these instances, and I don't know if I can get around that, where I can just directly kind of have ID and name. I think because the problem is that it's less serializable. We'd have to loop over the options. So we'll select the value here to demonstrate this, and this value here is a nested object. We don't need that, so let's see what we can do about that. We want that getter, then that's basically what it would entail. So we won't have a setter, so that we can't set the value with the proxy. We would rather just, well, the model value should be immutable, maybe, I don't know. So it'll return instance. Now the thing with instance is, like, instance doesn't have the getters and setters. Instance has the values, but we'll see if that works out. So we'll say this values dot map. This will return that. So what this will do, we'll just get the values from there. So now, okay, that looks like it's broken. Oh, yeah, a map of undefined, okay. And the reason why is this store is undefined. So okay, what I meant was, wait a second. This. Okay, let's look back at proxy. When we do setter,
we have a get right here, object prop. No, it's not doing. Handler get target prop receiver. Okay. Target prop receiver. So okay. So target prop, and we know we're getting values. So what does it say? Target dot secret. Target dot prop. Or sorry. Okay. I'll do that. Now provide defined. That's a model. Sorry, that's here. Target, oh sorry, store. Target, store. We don't need prop, we just need target. And then a target, we already have store. Alright. Target, map, target, instance. So, that's gonna be so now we have an error. Huh. Okay. Okay, we'll go here and debug this. So it looks like target is an array, and what we want to do is map that. So let's continue. Value instance. That was wrong. Yeah, we just want to directly return that model instance. And it also gives us an error. Value, so instance. We should be able to return that. That's kind of odd. Let's see. So options, looks like it says store there. Huh. Why does it say store there? State and getters. We don't want to return the instance, that's right. We just want to return we want to return the properties of instance. Oh, the problem isn't that, it's the fact that we're returning a map or something, or wait, so that should be returning an array, right? So that's not a problem, is it? I just want to see what the return type is. So we'll go over here and reload. Stop here, and we're going to copy this on that, and what that returns is a list of instances, which is fine. So that kind of confuses me as to what the problem would be there. Now it looks like options concat add a function. Okay. So options, it says store. Funny. Oh, I think it's, is it really? Let's see. Let's reload and target. Oh, let's say we actually do want to see the prop object. What's the last one? Receiver. We don't want that. Well, so we'll reload prop is view receiver. I'm not sure what that is, but that length. Oh, I see. It's trying to get the length of the values, and it's saying, oh, we don't have that. We don't know. Oh, okay. So basically, the issue right here is that we want to be able to get the length of the values, right? And so that's kind of inconvenient that we have to do this. So basically, we want to deal with the instance properly. So when we create a new model, we'll do this. We'll say new proxy for a new model, and the proxy will have its own custom get, and that will return most issue though. That we'll have to have that overhead, and that's supposed to just return an instance. Because no, we'll just have to deal with that, to be honest. Well, what we could do is we could say, let's try that, see what happens. Okay, and so now it has proxies. We'll see here that options still has those instances. So that doesn't give us much benefit. But when we do a get, there we go. We want to return the instance every time. Maybe. Let's see. That property depend of undefined. Okay. Maybe we can do a proxy to the value type. I wonder if that would work. Do we do a proxy to the value type? The only thing is like we don't want to have this might disappear from the garbage collector, right? Because like we're creating a new instance and getting that instance immediately, but like we will lose that reference somewhere. So I don't know if that would work even. Probably not. No way. No way would that work. What? It worked? No. No fucking way. Oh shit. That totally worked. So now, but now I want to experiment with that because that's a little fishy to me because I thought that wouldn't work. Because this, we want to store this somewhere, right? We don't want to have this fucking running around. But that's weird that works. So, so this model will just be created out of thin air, and then the problem is that when we delete the collection, we won't. I don't know. If you delete a proxy, will it? Let's see. So new proxy for, let's say, actually no. The whole point is that we have a variable. New proxy for some value. We don't know. Okay, so const x equals object. X is an object. So when you make a const p as a proxy to that object, let's say p. X is the same thing. Now if we delete P, P is still there. Interesting. But if we delete X, P is still there. Oh shit. I want to see. Only properties. Yeah, we can't delete objects. Yeah, you don't need to delete them. But then the garbage collector, when's the garbage collector? Is it just gonna like try to be smart about it? Is it gonna say like, I don't know when this is deleted. Is it when we have like a non-existent? I think that'll work, whatever. That seems kind of like undefined behavior right there though, I don't know. It probably is defined. Whatever. Okay, hi there, I'm seeing wrong, are you seeing da 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 da? Okay, I'm debugging in Chromium debug tools, and I'm using Spacemax, which is a Emacs kind of, it's a Emacs distribution. Anyway. Cool. So interesting. Proxy, new proxy. Okay, so now that we have that sorted, oh wait, shit. There's one more thing. I wanted to test. Because I'm surprised as hell that worked, what I just did. If you missed it, well, you missed it. But what I want to do is test this out. This store has all these proxies to other kind of like fields, right? But the thing is like the model disappeared, it looks like. Yeah. So like the model's gone, right? So I feel like that kind of, wait, so it does get deleted. It deletes the model value but then keeps the proxy. Yeah, that's what it does. So I'm just retarded. So you can keep a proxy to an instance and then not have that be deleted. Looks like the thing gets kind of like shadowed by the collection or something. That's kind of odd. Yeah, no, we don't want that. We don't want that. But what we do want is the proxy. So yeah, we have this issue where like it has an instance object attributes and stuff. But we want, because we really want the collection to store a model instances rather than like something else. So like options. So yeah, it'll store those feed content type models as instances, but right there, it kind of rids the need for those getters and stuff, I guess. So let's see. When we assign values, it'll be a problem because, well, if we reassign them to like yeah, whatever. Okay. So what we really wanted to do is be able to create a new instance. And it looks like we have an invalid request there. And we look here, and we pass it an instance of the model rather than like what's inside the instance. So right, so we don't want to have this array of these instances here. We actually want a that'd be great if we wanted a modified instance, but since we don't, it's kind of a hindrance actually. So wait a second. Oh, I'm going crazy. Okay. So here we go. This is the create feed thing, right? We send it the form, but the problem with that is our form parser isn't good. Let's see actually. So this is what we'll do. Here and the create models, vue.js model. When we create, we want to parse that. So eventually we'll have all of these like objects as we'll have feed collection. Or sorry, we'll have the feed view make use of the model. So that way we'll bind the model to the view, and it will sync the store or whatnot, and the data will not exist independently, but as a one-to-one relation. So anyway, with content or with feed model, the way that we're doing this, with feed collection, when we create a feed, it's gonna log, right? And so so like here, when we logged, okay, we got a bad response. That's why it didn't do anything, because the create is expecting a forum. So what we actually want to do is we want to say that, but then content types is going to be data content types. And we want to keep this as the unserialized version, and so wait, we have that. So right now, data content types is a model. So if you look back at model, we can see we have this get new instance thing, right, where it will return with no object ID. We want to add a new method that gets instance. I think actually we'll make this a method. Because data content types, oh, that's the problem. Data content types is a model. It's being passed in from a form. That's why we wanted those to be model instances over here. These are just value types in here, right? They're not actual model instances. Damn it. But once they are, well, we'll try to get that working, and then once they are, we can basically get the properties. We just want the IDs, basically, right? So if it's a collection, we can just do content types IDs like that, and that will work. But since it's an array, or sorry, no, it is a collection. So that way we can get the IDs off the collection, which is the content types. So wait a second, we need a reference to that content or that collection. So over here we have the collection here, but we do not have the collection in feed.vue. So the question is should we, well, collection select manages its own reference to the collection, but, or sorry, feed content type select has the collection in its data properties. And so we might need the collection as well over here, or in the model rather, so that way when we pass it here through create feed, it'll pass the form, and then also we want to make sure the form actually has the collection, rather than, so right here we see that in instance form content types, sorry, if we select content types, we see that content types is just an array of instances, but we want to deal with content types as a collection, right? So basically what I would like to do is write a function that converts this array to a collection, or some sort of way of accessing the collection as a those model instances. Well, those model instances are fine, that's fine and all, but then we lose out on the methods that are there. So yeah, technically, okay. So I'm jumping around too much. So right, okay, here we go. Okay, so we take the form. Form doesn't have the collection, it has all these instances. And we want to serialize that form to the IDs of said instance. So maybe instead of having the IDs method here, we do like a serialize operation where we do export class, export function, scope. And it takes the values. And we'll just map those values, get the IDs, and we will import that in the feed. So we'll import serialize IDs, and we'll move that method somewhere else. And that'll be a function that will just take the instance data and make that nice. And the thing is that what do we do? vue.js. So what is it saying? What? That's right. Okay. So, nice thing about that, serialize the IDs of those content types. The problem with that is those are instances, right? So we have to go to model and return the instance ID. So now when we submit it, what happens is so that worked. We can see, I don't know if that worked, but let's see, actually, wait, so okay, does that work? If we go to S, no, we don't have it. So, that's kind of weird. So, okay, looks like a map of undefined here. So that's not working. Basically, serialize, or sorry, what? Over here. Serialize IDs isn't getting anything, so that's because this is that. It's underscore case right there. Now it's giving us an error. We got a network error, probably. Yeah. Oh, no, it actually got created. Got created. Look at that. We got that properly. But here, something's wrong with when we try to redirect here. But if we go back, we'll see we got that created. Just to prove it, we'll make it a different title. And let me see that. It's over here. There seems to be an issue with the options or redirecting that I manage. So what we'll do is let's take care of that. So time is it? Okay. Alright, so that's in there, but then with feed.vue, it sets this instance, but it doesn't actually seem to correctly redirect. And so right here we see that it's supposed to get this instance. So blah 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 blah. Create that, and we'll see what happens with view instance. So we'll see here that it doesn't seem to have populated instance probably. Oh, well, we have objects, we have instances. So that should, it has instance ID. So yeah. So I'll be right back. So I made my own state management system because I know how to do it and I wanted to do it, and I hate Vue.js and I hate all those other ones. I haven't tried Vue.js personally, but honestly, like, this is so much damn simple. Isn't working. So when we initialize the form, right, we set instance form to this instance, and that should do it, right? I guess not. So feed view, when we do save or something, it should be getting the instance ID from the instance, but instance. So when we assign instance, something's going wrong. See, it's saying feed/null/manage, not the feed ID that we need, you know? So with where that's at is look at that, we got null there. But anyway, so we'll go back to create. We're gonna try again. And so we're gonna debug this. So when we go over here, so we're gonna go to the debugger, right? And so like we'll go over here, right, and it'll fake the instance and stuff. The problem well the problem is we have to find where that's at. So in feed view, okay, let's just try to go. No, well, let me jump to that. So deep view, we have it here. When we do this, we're going to check this out. So, oh, I didn't have to reload, but anyway. So this instance, it has an accessor. It's an observer or something. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so it didn't fully get activated or something. That's weird because we waited till the next tick, right? And so you think it would get populated and stuff. So what we'll do instead, we'll go ahead. Okay. So over here, it's a log data, right? And right here, we're gonna go here. Oh, it didn't.
And looks like we got all those models. Wait, what? Oh, okay, we did it wrong. We returned the wrong value here in instance. Well, we return instance, so that's odd. Instance is when we console log. It's somewhere else. Oh, that's interesting. So it should have console logged our feed there. Whatever. We'll go to model, feed model, and where we console log that is over here, you know, and so blah 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 blah. It doesn't seem to get in there, oddly. Wonder why. Is it the way we're synchronizing it? No, it's the correct serializing right there. Huh. Did we override the collection create method? Nope, we didn't. Or so for some reason it's not running our promise at all. Oh, there we go. Data and created. Oh, okay, well. So yeah, we return instance, so that means that this should be correct, you know? Except, no, yeah, that should be correct. So, I wonder what's going on with that. No, yeah, this instance should be, there. And, it still says feed/null/managed is the weird part of this. So I guess it redirects before the model or the create procedure actually runs for some reason. Why is that? Let's see. That's really odd. So like, it doesn't seem to really work then, if it's creating the feed, then waiting till the next tick, so let's try to see where it gets updated then. Okay. So it gets assigned somewhere, right? Oh, that's probably why, huh? Oh, okay. Oh. Well, you modify, maybe modifies it, does it? No, it doesn't. It just maps them. It just maps the values. I don't see why that would cause a problem. That's odd. I think we don't need that. I think we would just run it as it is. Huh. Oh, okay, this one works, but then this isn't bound. So it gets there first. Odd. Okay, I guess what we'll do, instead of doing this, we'll have to maybe do this, so that way we don't copy it, or that way we copy it from the get-go. Oh no, that still does it. What state is it setting there? Like, I don't even know what's going on with that. Because it's setting this, like, state. And I don't even know why. Like, we can't win. It's supposed to not do any method here. It's supposed to, like, resolve the promise, right? Or create feed, which returns a promise. Then we chain that promise with this. So look at group just to make sure there's no differences. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there is. The only difference is we changed up how we do this in the model. But the weird part is so then this instance yeah, the thing we want to do is we want to change the router on the next tick, right? So it's odd that it would even trigger before then. I think it has to do with the spread syntax for some reason. Like before it even gets to JSON response. I think it's literally, well, why would it do that though? I don't know, is it that? I think it is a... Could be. Nope. How does it do that though? How would it get beyond this then? What the fuck, right? I mean, why would it do that? I'm not even immediately calling it. It's a function. It's not being immediately called. People are saying, oh, yeah. What? How is that even possible? It literally... What? Okay, we're gonna step through this, see what happens. What? So before it even... What? How is that even happening? That's not happened before. No, that's not what I want. Wait, no, that was... Yes, it's a promise. So then why is it... Okay. Yeah, before it even, what the hell? Yeah, I know how all this works. Oh man, this is a horrible thing. This won't. Yeah, it's a function, right? That won't console log test, it's a function. So why is it calling that before this then even resolves? Let's see, if we do this. What? Are you kidding me? The collection is not defined? Okay, whatever. What? I'm in the debugger and it's telling me that feed collection is not defined? Oh, it's because of stupid freaking it's not. Oh man. Okay. It's because of this stupid Webpack stuff. I'm not seeing my modules. So it's not seeing my modules at all, man. So I can't even test if this is... Oh, Jesus. So... before I even call this function, the then is returning. Why? Because this world hates me, or... Okay, let's see what this does. Oh boy, I can't even debug this. That's still unknown to me why a promise would do that. A promise is supposed to chain thens, and this one is not. We're not doing it any differently. Well, screw it then. If we can't do that there, then we just have to do it there. There's no possible way that this could get called. That's so red bogs. Oops. There's no possible way. Okay. Okay, now it does it, but that was so confusing. I don't even know how that was even possible. The whole purpose of splitting it up like that is that I didn't have to... But like, what the hell? Because it returns a promise. It's probably a bug. Like, that's nonsense. I have no idea how that would even occur. Whatever. We can't really do anything about it. But damn, let's try that again. It'll just work like magic. Oh, I think because it's not expecting data or something. If let's just return data and use that. So that way maybe we can do that. I don't know. Oh. Okay, so that worked. I don't see why that's any different though. If we don't return anything, whatever, I don't know. Whatever, I don't really care actually. Okay. So we're doing pretty well on time. It's fairly late. I don't know. So if we did 46 hours, wow, okay. Interesting. Yeah, that's my timetable. Yeah, we have to get the manage action working. This instance form equals this instance. Let's check that out. So when we inspect view, go in here, view, and we look here. Looks like this instance is nothing. And I think this is because of the we go in the instance, it's nothing. It seems to go to the instance twice. But it's not in our objects. We have to update objects. So no, oh duh, wait. So when we create one, we don't want to set instance. We want to what we want to do is return the instance, or sorry, append it to the objects that exist. Now the thing with objects is like it's functioning as like a cache for the view or the view model. Now that won't be. We don't have like a proper collection, or we don't have a proper store for feed yet. So this should be in store. So that way, when we push it to data, or when we push it to objects, it will be there for the
manage action to grab. Oh, looks like it wasn't. So we go here, view objects. And maybe. Oh, I don't know. Bring it back. Alright, so we're gonna end the stream. So yeah, so this will be this is gonna be on GitHub. So unfortunately, I have to end the stream. Things are happening, and yeah, it's outside of my control. So anyway, we're going to end the stream. Everything's on GitHub. We streamed like 10 and a half hours today, so like that's why I'm ending the stream also, because I've been streaming that long. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Please like the video if you want, and see you next time. I beat my goal. I was gonna do 40 hours of streaming this week, and it looks like we're at 3 hours 35 minutes or so. So we would 46 hours of streaming today. That's all on my channel. All the streams are archived there, so you can check out those other streams if you wanted to see more programming. So, and unfortunately that won't be live, of course, because those have been already broadcasted. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and